is everybody doing today? Friends, family, and enemies. Welcome back to another video. As always, I hope you are all having a wonderful, blessed day. If not, I will be praying that it gets better. Now, in today's video, we will be talking a little bit about deception. So sit back, relax, listen, comprehend, and learn to view the world with the love of God. So, deception is on my heart today, is on my mind today, is in my spirit today. This is what God is telling me to talk about. And while, again, I'm not 100% sure what I'm all going to say in this video, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to say what God wants me to say. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be delivering the truth in this video. And where to start, I'm not sure. I'm just going to start. Some people want to judge me for what I believe. Some people want to judge others for what they believe, right? But they don't want to look. Maybe they are just blind to the fruit in which they produce. People are judging me because I've experienced the love of God, and that is what I'm explaining to people. If you've experienced what I've experienced, you will not turn away from that. You cannot turn away from that. You cannot deny it. You don't know my journey and I don't know your journey, which is why I don't judge you for what you say. But the truth is, there is a great deception. I may be deceived. You may be deceived. As a matter of fact, there may be only one person who is saved and not deceived. And all that being said, it doesn't help you to try and judge somebody else. It doesn't help you to try and say somebody else is wrong, to try and say that you're right. In fact, what that does is put you in line to be judged next. Just because I preach the love of God, just because I believe in something a little bit different, does not mean I don't love God, does not mean I don't believe in God, does not mean I don't pray to God, worship God, does not mean I don't live in the Spirit and not of this world, does not mean I love the flesh, does not mean I love to sin. Don't get me wrong. It may sound like in some of my videos like I support sin, but I do not. If you are in the flesh, in the world, if you are a sinner, whether or not I believe God is the one who inflicts the punishment or Satan, whether or not I believe God hates you or not, because I obviously do not believe that. I obviously do not believe that God hates anybody. But whether or not that would be the case, it does not change the fact that you will get what you deserve. It does not change the fact that you will receive justice. You will receive your punishment. You will have to take responsibility for your actions. I still believe in that. Just because I don't believe that we have to follow the law 100% does not mean, I repeat, it does not mean that I do not follow the law. It does not mean that I support the throwing away with the law, the breaking of the law. What it really means is that don't think of it as a law. Don't think of it as, oh, I have the law right here. I'm reading it word for word. I'm perfect. You know why? Because the law is written, the law that you refer to. It is in physical form and you have to follow it physically. And when you do that, you fall short of the glory of God. You know how to live by the law. You know how to accomplish the law and do God's will. It's not by saying, this is the law, you're breaking it. It's by living in the Spirit, by worshiping God, by loving God, by doing what He wants you to do, by letting His will be done and not yours. It is all about the Spirit. It's all about self-control and discipline. It's all about denying yourself, picking up your cross every single day, denying your flesh, your pleasures, your worldly passions, and living in the Spirit here on earth. That's what the law is. The law is written on your heart, but you don't want to accept it. You don't want to take it. You don't want to believe it. Why? Because you lust over food. You lust over women, over men. You lust over money. You want more of this, more of that. You are greedy. You are evil. You are wicked. And you believe that if you don't have it, nobody else deserves it. You believe the world revolves around you. And that's not the case. The world revolves around God. Actions revolve around God. Punishment revolves around God. Just because I don't think He's the one who enforces it does not mean I don't believe that it's a good thing. It's all about balance. I know this type of stuff. But I'm not going to attribute hate and death and sickness and curses, jealousy and wrath to a loving God. You hate what I say about God because I actually apply the laws Jesus taught us. You hate what I'm saying about God because I am not perfect, but I'm still doing my best to live in the Spirit and not in the world. I'm not a friend of this world because that would make me an enemy of God. I don't love the pleasures of this world because that would make me an enemy of God. So yeah, do I believe in deception? Do I believe it's big out there? Of course. Just because I'm preaching love, just because I'm preaching the presence of God, the practice of God, the discipline of God, does not mean that I'm deceiving you. If that is what you believe, then you are focused on the small picture. If that is what you are believing, then you are one who lusts over the world. You are one who lusts over money, who wants this, wants that. You are the one with the evil intentions and the evil heart. And you will get what you deserve. And if I'm wrong, I'm going to get what I deserve. I know I have to take responsibility someday. When I die, I'm going to have to take responsibility. I know that what I do is my doing, of my free will. It's my choice. And I have to take responsibility for it. And I know me preaching what I preach sounds like there's no balance, sounds like there's no punishment, sounds like there's no judgment, sounds like there's no death, no famine. It sounds like there's no way on earth or in heaven that the evil, wicked, nasty people, the ones with a selfish and greedy heart, will get what they deserve, will receive justice. But that's not the case. What I'm saying is the deception's big. The deception is huge. And that is not God's plan. God was not like, I'm going to create billions of people and then I'm going to let them all be deceived so that I can hurt them, so that I can torture them, so that I can punish them for my satisfaction. What I preach is to clear that up because of the way people view God, because of the way people interpret the Bible, the Old Testament and the New Testament with no distinction. Do you not realize that that is what causes atheism? Do you not realize that that is why people are leaving the church? Do you not realize that that is why people do not believe in God? They take it too far because they don't understand God. They don't live in God. They live in the world. They want money. They want fame and success. It's not about the gifts you carry. That's what I've realized. Some people have amazing gifts, but they're not living for God. They're living for themselves. Don't run to the first person who does a miracle, to the first person who has a gift of God, if they are not using it for God, if they are not living for God. I'm very big on the deception. I'm very big on what's right and what's wrong. I'm very big on the light and the darkness. I'm very big on truth. Just because I'm telling you something does not mean you must take my word for it. It does not mean that you're getting the full experience. It does not mean that I'm explaining it perfectly. I don't have the words to say what I'm trying to say. But that's not going to stop me, because God's people will understand. If I don't say what God's telling me, if I don't say what I'm learning, if I don't say what God has showed me, then I would have to take responsibility for that. And God will be like, I gave you this, and you did nothing with it. You wicked servant, depart from me. You think I want that? I was disobedient. If I didn't do my part, if I didn't do my job, I was a Biblican. I was set on Yahweh. That's what people don't realize. Yahweh was my Father. Yahweh was my God. He was the creator of darkness and light. He was the enforcer. He was the punisher. He was the creator. That's what people don't seem to understand. That was my God. Just because I'm not calling out on the name of Yahweh, just because I'm not praying to Yahweh, just because I see it differently, does not mean that I hate you for it. Does not mean that I'm trying to change your ideas. I'm just letting you know what happened with me. It does not mean that I'm judging you because you worship Yahweh. If you follow the rules of Yahweh, if you try to better yourself for Yahweh, if you try to do Yahweh's will, I don't care. So long as you love. That's what Jesus taught you. You can call out Yahweh, Jehovah. You can call out Allah. You can call out whatever you want if you keep the commandments of God. That's all that matters. And if you're blind to see that, I'm sorry. That's the deception. Or part of the deception. Is that you think you're perfect, you think you're holy, you think you're saved. When in all actuality, in the wider, broader sense of things, you're the one who has no understanding. You're the one who lives outside of God, who does not have the presence of God, the love of God, the grace of God. This is a deception. This is the deception that's going on. It's not about who's wrong, who's right. It's not about division. It's not about judging people, calling people out, fighting wars. It's not about my God's better, my God's right, my God's strong. It's not about division. Jesus came and he preached his Father. And his Father was the God of peace, not war. The God of love, not fear. Just because I'm preaching that does not make me evil. Does not make me wicked. That's crazy. And see, this is what I'm talking about. I can't give you my experience because I've experienced him, because I've felt him, because I've felt his presence and his love. You're not grasping what I'm saying. You're not grasping any of these concepts. And that's okay. You haven't had the experience yourself. You're still a slave, whether you like it or not. When you become a child of God, you're not a slave of God. You're his child. You work freely. You work because you love him, not because you're scared to be punished. And that is what I say. That does not change the fact that if you are selfish, greedy, if you are lustful, if you are a killer, a liar, someone who steals, if you covet your neighbor's wife, if you break the 10 Commandments, it does not mean if you disobey God's laws that you will not be punished, because you will. And that's the deception. The deception is the law of attraction. The deception is you are God. The deception is you do what you want to do. The deception is there's no punishment. But that's not what I preach. It may sound like it because the presence of God is overwhelming, because his love is overwhelming. But I don't believe that there's no punishment. I don't believe that there's no judgment. I don't believe that you are going to get away with what you do. There's going to be justice. It's going to be served. You will get what you have coming to you. But you're focusing on the wrong things if you judge me because of the love of God. And that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Really hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to smash that like button. Be sure to subscribe and also hit that notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. I love you guys. I pray that you prosper, pray that you grow, and I pray that you receive all that you desire. Now, go and use what you've learned and apply it with the love of God.